Straight ahead on News 8 at 11, police are searching for the suspect in a brutal hit-and-run accident. A gunman surrenders at a TV station after a hostage ordeal that lasted for hours. And Christopher Reeve's wife fills us in on her husband's latest progress. Those stories and all the news right now on News 8 at 11.
You're watching San Diego's #1 source for news. Right here, right now. This is News 8 at 11.
A horrifying hit-and-run accident leaves one man dead and police searching for the suspect. Good evening. A deadly accident in City Heights is our big story tonight. I'm Hal Clement.
And I'm Judy Hsu, in for Denise Yamada. At this hour, police continue to search for the man responsible for this terrible crime. The driver not only hit the victim, but carried the body in his car for several blocks. It was a grisly scene confronting police officers and residents of this City Heights neighborhood. A car crashed onto the front yard of this house, its windshield shattered. Inside the bloody car, a body in the passenger seat, a victim of an apparent hit and run.
There was a collision, we believe, between an automobile and a pedestrian. The vehicle continued and crashed into this house here, as you can see.
Carlos Gomez was one of the first to hear the commotion.
I just came out, go to check the car, and I thought I saw somebody in there. I came out with my flashlight, and we see, and in there, and see that he was missing a leg.
Witnesses say the initial impact happened here on the corner of 43rd and Landis. A shoe was torn off of the victim's foot as he crashed through the windshield, landing inside the car. The driver then sped down 43rd Street for nearly 5 blocks, turning on Glenfield before finally crashing near Manzanita. Police helicopter hovered over a nearby apartment complex where the suspect was last seen fleeing on foot.
We established a perimeter around that whole block, and that's what we're searching yard by yard and house by house right now.
Meanwhile, residents watched in horror. But Gomez says he's not surprised at the accident. His car was hit once before by an out-of-control driver.
I think this city negligence or something, not putting anything. It doesn't even have a stop sign over there. No stop sign.
So far, police have no suspects in custody. Authorities have not yet released the name of the victim. If you have any information about the accident, you're asked to call San Diego Police.
Updating our big story from last night now, a Little Point Loma girl is on life support tonight following a freak accident in front of her aunt's house. It happened on Catalina Boulevard. A driver who swerved her car to avoid hitting a dog hit little Rachel Rodriguez instead. Rachel lost her right foot and suffered serious lung and head injuries. Her condition is critical. A man accused of torching a La Mesa bank this past weekend says he is not guilty. Douglas Carter was arraigned by video today. Investigators believe he set the Valley de Oro bank fire, which caused $1.8 million in damage. A police officer says he was questioning Carter about another fire when Carter made statements about the bank fire, statements only someone connected to it could know. Carter is being held on a $500,000 bail.
A 15-year-old murder suspect accused of killing a pizza delivery man will stand trial as an adult. Babyface Tony Hicks heard the news in court today. He'll be the youngest defendant ever to go to trial for murder in a San Diego Superior Court. Hicks was 14 when he planned what he called a pizza jacking with 3 friends last January.
What did Tony Hicks say with regard to getting the pizza?
They want to do a pizza jacking.
Tony Hicks told us that he shot Kamisha. He shot him because he was stupid, wouldn't give him the pizza.
Hicks shot 20-year-old Tariq Hamiza on the spot. California's new law allowing 14 and 15-year-olds to stand trial as adults was passed just 3 weeks before the murder. Judge Charles Patrick ordered Hicks bound over for trial.
A cross-country run for 2 teenage girls from Maine ended today when the man they were running with was shot dead by San Diego police.
It happened at an Ocean Beach motel. Police received a tip that the man and the girls were staying there, and the man had a gun.
Doug McAllister's in the Channel 8 newsroom now with the story. Doug?
Well, it's a sad story from beginning to end, but it appears police had no choice but to shoot the man in front of the horrified girls. They were friends of his daughters from Portland, Maine. That's where this sad story began.
My first words were, thank God. You know, thank God.
Ann Haney's 14-year-old daughter, Phelan, and 16-year-old friend, Angela Smith, ran off with Louis Danny Newcomb the day after Christmas. Newcomb was shot dead by San Diego police when they came to get the girls and he produced a gun.
The officers ordered the suspect several times to drop the gun. He did not respond verbally, but he then pointed the gun in the officers' direction who were standing in the front door.
Maine police traced Newcomb and the girls to the Ocean Villa Motel through credit card charges.
Yeah, they all three came in just like any other customer.
They'd been seen around Ocean Beach, and it appeared Newcomb was romantic with the Smith girl.
Like they were holding hands, and I saw them kiss, I think, a couple times with a blonde.
Newcomb lived in this Andover, Maine house where relatives of the girls say he threw wild parties for teenagers.
Right before Thanksgiving, or right around Thanksgiving, had threatened one of his own daughter's life.
San Diego police were tipped by a maid that Newcomb had a gun. Witnesses say he was given plenty of warning.
After they knocked the door down, they asked the guy to put the gun down, very politely, 15 or 20 times.
Girls were crying, and they weren't dressed all the way. They didn't have any shoes on. One just had a T-shirt on.
It just seems so senseless, It's a senseless death.
The girls are being held in juvenile care while their parents make arrangements for their return to Maine.
A nightmare. It's when you hear people say that this type of thing is every parent's nightmare, it truly is.
Newcomb, the dead man, worked at the Boise Cascade paper mill near Portland, but quit showing up for work. Police say he was holding a revolver when shot and that it was loaded, cocked, and ready to fire. Judy?
All right, thanks, Doug. Elsewhere tonight, a 4.5-hour hostage ordeal ended with 2 people shot and the gunman surrendering. Portland police say this man, 24-year-old James Rinker, was fired from his delivery job after problems with some of the women on his route. Police think he may have come back for revenge. It all happened in the building that houses our CBS affiliate in Portland. Mark Sanchez has our report.
It all began shortly after 2 o'clock. The gunman approached the KOIN Tower armed with bad intent and several firearms. The first shots rang out in the parking garage out of public view.
By any description, this is a crime scene. I'm underground now in the parking garage of the KOIN building, where below me, trail of blood, and there are at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 spent bullets.
Altogether, more than a dozen rounds went off, and you can follow the trail of blood headed this time toward an elevator. 2 men were hit, 1 in the back, 1 in the leg. Both were taken to University Hospital. Both will survive their wounds. The gunman then entered the KOIN building lobby. He took hostages as he entered the ground floor office of the Charles Schwab brokerage house. This drama unfolded before the eyes of KOIN-TV employees.
Well, the guy came up, got into the lobby, actually had a woman with him that was behind him, but he had drugged her in. He looked around and looked down at his gun as if something was wrong with his gun. So he then took his gun off his shoulder, threw it down into the ground, and pulled out, I didn't see the gun, but eventually pulled out another gun, and that's what he shot with. It was almost as if he was going to, spray all the people, just come in and spray them with his automatic weapon.
I heard 2 shots.
You heard 2 shots?
2 shots. Immediately after he herded some of the people across the KOIN Center lobby and into Charles Schwab, we realized, once we saw who it was, with armed as he was, that this was serious. We all ducked, hid behind doors, got into locked rooms, and then we heard 2 or 3 shots. And at that point, we knew we had a very serious situation.
KOIN employees headed to the newsroom where they followed live coverage from the TV monitors. Just 2 stories up, this drama played out in real life. Mark Sanchez for CBS News.
The 2 men who were shot are in fair condition tonight. The gunman is expected to be charged with assault and attempted murder.
Well, with all the bad news we've been telling you, we want to end this segment on a positive note. Tonight, special honors for students who are getting a leg up on their future. Inroads San Diego held its 4th annual awards banquet downtown tonight. Inroads works with corporate sponsors to give talented minority college students internships in the world of business and industry. Nearly 6,000 college students in 46 states take part in that program. So congratulations to them. Little good news tonight.
That's right. Nice to see them get a head start. Next on News 8, how America's budget crisis is affecting Medicare. Plus good news for people looking to buy a home. And there's potentially bad news for Hillary Clinton tonight involving the White House Travel Office.
Plus word back to the states on the conditions American soldiers are facing in Bosnia and the condition of actor Christopher Reeve. His wife gives us the encouraging news next.
And later, the leading contenders for the Grammy Awards coming up.
Live from San Diego's #1 source for news, Denise Yamada. Hal Clement, Loren Nancarrow, and Hank Bauer. Right here, right now. You're watching News 8 at 11.
News 8 is brought to you in part by Delmar Satellite Wagering.